Greetings and salutations, travelers of the internet. Welcome to the Lit Roundtable. I'm Anna.
And I'm Joseph, and we'll be your wise or not so wise mentors for today's audio adventure into all things storytelling.
Woohoo! It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since we've done that little intro.
Today we're going to be going over it's a Lord of the Rings roundup. There's news, a ton of news dropped since last time we talked about Lord of the Rings stuff.
For sure.
About new movies. There's a Rings of Power trailer. The War of the Rohirrim animated movie is coming out this year. And Anna has, in my notes, what I have called it's called Anna's Rage Bait article to raise my blood pressure.
Should we start with that? Should we end with it?
We'll end with that.
Okay. We're not going to go through the whole article. There's one part of it.
We got to give the people something to look forward to.
Do you want to hear the title just as like a tease?
Okay, yes. What's the title?
The title is Lord of the Rings, Characters Who Are Stronger Than Gandalf. GameRant.com. This is courtesy of Blake, by the way.
It's Blake's Rage Bait article.
Well, it's his Google Pixel, or whatever his Google phone he has. We were looking at his articles, because he's been complaining recently that a lot of the article titles just don't make any sense, which is super true. And then this one, came across. So,
it should be a pretty short list.
It is. There's only 6 on the list.
That's still probably too long.
I agree.
Who are the 3 characters in the thumbnail, Anna?
Oh yeah, the 3 characters in the thumbnail are Elrond, which okay. Galadriel, you could make more of an argument for, and Frodo.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I will say that when I sent you the link and told you not to open it, you had a very similar reaction to what I had when we came across it as we were scrolling on Blake's phone. So.
Why is Frodo in the thumbnail?
To be rage baity, obviously. Also, right. Special treat for this recording, you guys. I am on call, which means my phone might ding, but I can't do anything about that. So, apologies.
And that's okay.
So.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
But, yeah, so first, I want to talk about these new Lord of the Rings movies that are supposedly coming out.
Movies? Plural?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So here's the rundown. A deal was brokered for multiple films. We don't know how many, but multiple.
With who?
Like who's making them? It's still Warner Brothers. They still own the rights for all this stuff because they bought New Line Cinema.
They did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See, when you said it's still Warner Brothers, I was confused because I was like, but it wasn't Warner Brothers.
It was actually Warner Brothers, like when they did the Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm cautiously optimistic, judging by the things that, I've read, but if it's still Warner Brothers and they were the ones in charge of the Hobbit, I'm still a little wigged out. And we'll see what happens. But everything that I'm about to say, I think, is a good thing. The first film is supposed to come 2026.
Okay.
So a couple years.
These are live action.
Correct. Peter Jackson producing and Andy Serkis to direct.
Oh, okay. This is a positive thing.
And the working title is Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum.
I'm a fan.
If you didn't know this, dear listener, or you, dear co-host, there's a fan film that's already...
I have seen this.
That already exists. So, yeah, I'll have to rewatch that because it's been a while. Just to kind of...
It's on YouTube for those of you that are curious.
Yeah, totally free.
At least it was. Once upon a time.
So yeah, check that out. Assuming it's still there.
Wait, okay. So that would mean that this is assuming that it's following the same, like, track of the story as that fan film, which seems pretty safe to assume. It's following following Aragorn's search for Gollum after he escapes Mirkwood.
So it's interesting. There's
right. Am I correct?
So
in that?
the timeline is kind of interesting. That is what the fan film is. It's like heavily Aragorn centric. You know, in the Fellowship, when Gandalf says, "I searched everywhere for the creature Gollum, but the enemy found him first."
Mm-hmm. Oh, you
That's
think it's about
the
that
search.
time frame?
I think that's the search. I think that is when Aragorn is also trying to find him. Like they're working together to try to find Gollum.
Right.
But the bad guys.
But like so after Gollum is released from Barad-dûr, he is captured in Mirkwood, right?
Right.
For
but
like
he
a
escapes.
short time, and he escapes.
And that's why Legolas got sent to Rivendell to tell people like, "Hey guys, Gollum's on the loose again."
Right.
But they're trying. So it's like after Gandalf goes through the scrolls in Minas Tirith, and he's like, "Oh, this is the actual One Ring."
Right.
That's when he goes on the search for Gollum because he knows from Bilbo Gollum was the one before Bilbo that had it. So he's just like following the paper trail basically. And he also knows that Gollum knows the location of the ring is like with Baggins, and so he wants to protect that information. So that's kind of what I suspect the plot will be. I don't know if they'll do any like weird timeline shifting stuff, you know.
So if Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis are involved, and Andy Serkis directing, which is a phenomenal choice, do we assume that he will also be Gollum?
I would assume so.
And he's gonna pull a John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Direct and perform.
I don't think you can have anyone else be Gollum so long as Andy Serkis is alive.
I kind of agree. And does that mean that they're going to try and get Ian McKellen to reprise Gandalf again? And
I don't know.
Would he do it?
He's getting up there. He might not. I wouldn't be surprised if he declined, to be honest with you.
Would Viggo Mortensen reprise Aragorn?
So he actually did say that if it felt right for the character, he would love to reprise the role. However, what I think that means is he's old. So he was like, if it's older Aragorn, yes. Or they could try to pull an Indiana Jones, you know, like what they did in this last one, and try to like de-age his face.
He doesn't look... I mean, he is older. Like, you cannot deny that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't young when he first did Aragorn anyway. So, like, the aging isn't as, like, significant as if you look at Elijah Woods or Orlando Bloom's. Like, they've aged a lot since then. Because they were teenagers, basically. I mean, Elijah Wood was literally 18.
Yeah.
And, which is crazy.
And Orlando Bloom wasn't much older. He was like 19,
like 21.
20. Yeah. So he's open to it if it feels right. So we'll see.
I did see he was rocking his Frodo and Sam for president shirt on like a recent interview, and that made me very happy. Because that means he's still in it.
Yes. Yeah.
He's not like, I want to leave that behind. I kind of get that impression from Orlando Bloom a little bit, and like some other. Even though he came back as Legolas, I don't feel like he's as attached to it.
No, yeah. Same with like the Pirates movies. I feel like he's not as attached to those. You know, I think
he was a kid, so
yeah, he's like a totally different person now. I'm sure than he was before.
But like the hobbits have all like held on to it. Viggo's like not in this. I mean, he's still acting, but he's not like a movie star.
Yeah,
but he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah. We'll see who returns and who doesn't and what it would look like. But also Philippa Boyens and like all those other writer people that were, it's like Peter Jackson, Philippa Boyens, and what's the third one?
Walsh.
That trio would be back for all these in theory.
Which I think is good. They were also involved in the Hobbit movies, and that was bad. But so was Andy Serkis.
I really do for all the gripes we have with the Hobbit movies, I put the majority of my criticism on Warner Brothers, because it feels like a lot of pressure from like a corporation to make certain decisions, like putting in a love triangle.
Right.
Like all those kind of weird things.
Sure.
Splitting it into 3 movies.
Right.
Total cash grab,
For sure.
Anyway, and this would also be an opportunity to tell a story that's not like fully fleshed out. It's like they have more like of an opportunity to be more creative with it, because there's not as much source material with it.
Do you think that they're seeing what Amazon is doing with the Rings of Power, and they're like, oh, like there is room to tell more story here with what we have?
I probably. I mean, because that's also.
How does that work?
Huh.
How does Amazon and Warner Brothers have the rights?
So I think Warner Brothers has the movie rights. Amazon has the show, like TV show rights. Like they're 2 different things.
So weird.
Yeah.
Okay,
So like Amazon
sense,
can make shows and Warner Brothers can make movies, I think. Weird. I'm like 90% sure that's the way it is. But it's been a while since I read about that. Because I had the same question, like, when Amazon bought the rights. I was like, what do you mean Amazon bought the rights? They don't, like, Warner Brothers has the rights. I think that's what it is. They have the TV show rights.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
That's everything that we know about the new Lord of the Rings movies, the live action that are going to be coming out.
So that's only one.
Yeah, we don't know anything about the other ones. Okay. Just that there's plans for multiple. But this was the first one, and The Hunt for Gollum is the working title, so like that's subject to change, of course. It's still in pre-production. Sure. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited, though. Tentatively excited.
Me too.
But speaking of live action, we also got a Rings of Power trailer, which we already recorded a bonus episode dissecting, but I still want to hit a couple things in the news roundup. Yeah, that's going to be coming out this fall. Go watch the trailer if you haven't seen it already. But,
please, it's so good.
General spoilers for the trailer or for possibly the show if I, like, predict some things that are actually correct.
Well, in, like, season 1, because this is a trailer for season 2.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. Hot Sauron, Anatar.
Right. As if he wasn't hot before.
Yeah, not that Vickers wasn't like an attractive man before, but now he is going to look more elegant.
He's hot elf. Sauron.
Yeah. Pointy ears. He is a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing the war between Sauron and the elves. I think we're going to see the fall of Eregion and the death of Celebrimbor.
That seems like a pretty done deal.
I think, because I'm pretty sure we see Celebrimbor like in the trailer missing a hand. With Sauron standing nearby menacingly. I just want to know, are we going to get Celeborn? I want Celeborn so bad.
Same. I did see that we're going to get Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. There's images of Tom Bombadil. He's going to be gracing the silver screen for the first time ever.
Which I'm totally here for. I'm just also confused.
Do you remember, was Tom Bombadil in the old animated Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Okay, so this will be the first live action interpretation of Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, he doesn't have yellow boots. And I'm like, you numbskulls, it's the lighting. They are yellow. Look at the other picture. They are yellow boots. Shut up. I swear.
Lighting is hard, Joseph.
But here's the thing. Like, some people
I'm just teasing.
I know you are, but I'm getting on my own complaint train about other people's complaint trains because people just like to be angry about something, and rage is something like just being angry is something that's like profitable, for some of these like YouTube channels and like other places
Sure.
that put out this content of like, oh, Tom Bombadil's boots aren't yellow, my life is ruined, or like, oh, this is how Disney is ruining Star Wars, blah. Like all these things. It's just like, guys, can you just like let people like things?
Right. Like if it's not for you, fine, just move on.
Like if someone out there genuinely enjoys the Hobbit movies, I'm so happy for you.
Oh, for sure. And it's not even. I feel so bad about having such a gripe with them. Because there are things about them that I do genuinely enjoy very much.
But you can just I think, in my opinion, you can objectively compare them with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and they are inferior.
Sure. If you're comparing them to each other, there's clearly a disconnect.
Anyway, but I just wanted to address the whole like the controversy about Tom Bombadil not having yellow boots, even though he does. And even if he didn't have yellow boots, so what? Because this takes place how many years before the Fellowship of the Ring? Who's to say he doesn't acquire yellow boots?
No. Tom Bombadil wears the same exact shoes for eternity. They're not really shoes. They're his feet. They just look like shoes.
That's terrifying.
They're hobbit feet, but shoes.
Oh.
And they're
Tom
yellow.
Bombadil is an eldritch horror. Sort of. But
okay, so do you think
anyway,
that Tom Bombadil then is like it has to be Tom Bombadil and the Harfoots, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's going to be hanging out in Rune with Gandalf. Like
but that doesn't make any sense.
So I think it's before he ever goes over to wherever,
the Old Forest.
The Old Forest with Withywindle and all that stuff.
So I've been rewatching the first season with Blake.
Cool.
Because he's not seen it, and we wanted to prep for season 2, which is great. And I'm noticing that they have mentioned Rune a couple times, kind of offhandedly, in the early part of season 1. So I do think and we also know that they have the Rune sorcerers or whatever.
Yeah, that's where the creepy girls are from.
Right. But like even before their introduction or even hinted at, they're like mentioning Rune. So they are clearly like pointing that direction for the show.
And I'm excited about that because Rune is a whole area that has like not really been tapped at all.
Right.
Which this is speculation. This is something that people hope happens. But as far as a future movie, people are really hoping for a War in the North movie where it goes over what happened with the War of the Ring at like Erebor with the Easterling army, and like Lothlorien, all those things, like hitting.
Sign me up.
Like a war movie about like what happened in all those areas.
Okay, sign me up. But also, I feel like that kind of misses the point of the Lord of the Rings. But also, I'm here for it.
Misses the point. How? What's the point you think it's missing?
I mean, the point being. Okay, The Lord of the Rings, even though it has several major pivotal battles, and the War of the Ring is happening, I don't think that it's a war book.
No, and that's why I think you have the main trilogy,
right?
That you can just kind of that's the tried and true, the story as intended. But then if you want to break off and do these side like anthology things, I've always wondered what those like fighting for Lothlorien, like I've always wondered what those looked like. So I'm excited.
For sure. I also want to see that. I'm just also just being cautious.
I would also love like a Black Sails style like Corsair movie of like down in Umbar. Could you imagine? That'd be so cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Anyway, so
it's cool. So watching The Rings of Power with Blake has been kind of fun because Elendil came on screen and he was like, "Oh, I don't know who that is." I was like, "You do. You've seen him. You've seen that guy. I mean, you haven't seen this version of that guy, but he's in the prologue of the Fellowship of the Ring."
He's a guy with a sword
But
that
he's
gets
old.
stomped on.
But he's old.
Yeah.
And then we went and saw the Fellowship Extended version in theaters, like after we had watched several episodes. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to point out old Elendil. Just wait. And I go, "That's who?" And that's Gilgalad. He looks really different too, but that's Elendil. It was so exciting.
Yeah.
Also, Blake has started this is just me talking about Blake for a minute. Sorry, but he started calling Elrond Harold, because when he first shows up, when he's first on screen in the Rings of Power, they refer to him as Harold Elrond, which is weird anyway. And he goes, "Harold, I didn't know you had a first name." And it's so funny. And now he just calls Elrond Harold, and it just cracks me up.
That's really funny, actually.
It's great. It's really great. So we're watching The Fellowship of the Ring, and Elrond comes on screen. He goes, "Harold."
That's so funny.
He's pretty great. Anyway.
I love that.
Me too.
Man. So, yeah, Rings of Power Season 2 is coming out soon. I think that's is that August? Late August? Rings of Power?
It's either August or early September.
Like end of August, early September?
But yeah, early fall.
Yeah. So, very excited about that. That'll be cool. But the other bit of Lord of the Rings news is the War of the Rohirrim animated film. This was, this has been announced for a while. It's been known about, but they released some new images, and there's some new interview stuff with the director and Philippa Boyens that I want to talk about. So, War of the Rohirrim animated. It's directed by Kenji Kamiyama, who also directed Blade Runner and Black Lotus. If any of you guys know what those are. I've heard of Blade Runner.
I've heard of them, but I've not seen either of them.
Yeah, I've heard of Blade Runner, but not Black Lotus. It tells the story of Helm Hammerhand, who the Fortress of Helm's Deep is named after. And it is animated, but it's in an actual anime style.
It looks almost Studio Ghibli-esque.
Yeah, for me, it's giving Vinland Saga, medieval setting. I'm pumped, and I'll see if I can put the images on the screen for the video. I'll see if I can hunt those down, and but it looks really, really cool. So there's a quote from Entertainment Weekly, and we can link the article so you guys can check it out, because I'm not going to quote everything that they say, but these are just the things that I thought was cool. And this is coming from the director, Kamiyama himself. This is the story of the most powerful king in Rohan's history, someone who defeated his enemies with his bare fists. Why did his lineage have to end with him? I think there is a lesson in hubris there, and also for a need for responsibility and awareness in their power. We live in an age where, all over the world, we face the reality of war again. What then is power? What is the responsibility of those who possess it? It is something they need to think about by thinking together with those who don't. So that's really interesting to me. Just kind of the angle that they're approaching.
It's very anime.
And the vibe that they're... Yeah, it's a very anime story, which is what Boyens actually said. They were really drawn to this particular story for an anime adaptation. And this is from Boyens too. This is really cool, I think. In the appendices, where the story is drawn from, we get these quite intriguingly drawn male characters, and then we get this young female character who is never named. And that was really interesting to me, Boyens said. We know Helm has a daughter, and we know that she was central to the conflict that happened. But myself, and especially screenwriter Phoebe Gittins, were drawn to her. We could feel the weight of being that unnamed daughter, which immediately piqued our interest. Who was she? How did she live? And she is actually in one of the images. She's that redhead holding the sword. Yeah. I'm really excited to learn more about her.
I mean, yeah, she walked so Eowyn could run, is what it looks like to me. So here for it.
I mean, they have this culture in Rohan of the Shield Maidens. They're not to be trifled with, for sure. And we did get some news.
Okay, I will say that is like widely ignored
Yeah.
in the movies, which is a
Yeah.
little frustrating. But anyway. Carry on.
So the 3 images we have are of Helm Hammerhand himself, his daughter, who they named... Oh, what did they name her? Because she's unnamed in the appendices. I think they named her... It's like Hera. Yeah. Hera. And then there's the villain, whose name I think is Wolf, W-U-L-F, or maybe it's Wolf. I don't know how they're doing the pronunciation. But he is a Dunlending warlord character who is just a dude. He's not a wizard or a sorcerer or whatever. What Boyne said was, he speaks so directly to a lot of the crises that we're facing today. He's a really fascinating character and exciting too. You don't know what he's going to do, and some of the choices that he makes are just breathtaking in a good way. He's more dangerous because he's just a man. He's not an evil wizard or a dark lord. Yeah. And she said that he's one of her favorite antagonists to have ever written across all the films she's ever worked on. So
that's pretty amazing.
I'm pretty pumped for this movie, you guys. And
Same.
this is also coming this year.
This is amazing.
And I can't wait for a trailer. You know we're going to pick that apart when a trailer comes out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm so excited because I love anime and I love Lord of the Rings. And this is like judging just by everything that I've read on that article and everything else and the images, I'm on the hype train. Really, really bad.
So when they announced, because they announced this movie at the same time that The Rings of Power was announced, I imagined something akin to like the 80s Lord of the Rings, Hobbit animation. Like I figured I don't know why, because that's silly to assume they would stay in that like animation style. But I don't know if I just assumed that they would do that because of nostalgia or what. But I'm so glad that they're taking this in a totally different direction, because I think that it allows for so much more growth.
And I hope that
Not
it
that
does
there's
really,
anything
really...
wrong with 80s animation.
Oh, yeah.
Just...
But I hope that it does really, really well and that they do more. Give me more Lord of the Rings anime. Give me those War in the North movies as an anime. That'd be cool, too.
For sure. So, right. So the fact that the villain in this is just a man. Like, I know that the Lord of the Rings, the villain is an evil overlord. But it's also the Sackville Bagginses.
Yeah.
It's also Grima Wormtongue, who's also just a man. Like, it's also Denethor, just a man. Like, it's not just the big bads. There are little bads that are doing just as atrocious things. Not that the Sackville Bagginses are anywhere on the same level as Grima, but you know what I mean? Like, they are antagonists for Frodo and Bilbo. And anyway.
Yeah. So
I think that's great.
Agreed. Same here. I'm very excited for everything. We'll link that article. I'll send you the link, and you should read it too, Anna, because I think you'll find it very fascinating.
Yes, I will.
But that's it for my kind of news roundup for Lord of the Rings stuff. So now I guess we can move on to Blake's Rage Bait article.
Just put a little bow on it. Okay, so
I'm gonna be so pissed
when I saw the.
Let me open it.
Don't
open it. Okay,
No.
Okay, I won't. Yes, walk me through it.
Yeah. So when I first read the title, I thought, okay, you could maybe make an argument for Galadriel, which I've said already, but like she has been around a very long time. But even then, like as I was saying that to Blake, I was like, but Gandalf's a Maiar, so like not really. They're different. Like he's a demigod and she's an elf. Like she's a very old elf and a very powerful one, but like they're not on the same playing field. They're not the same class of being, right? So, number 6 they put as Tom Bombadil, which I was like, okay, if the theory that he is also a Maiar is true, but it is not confirmed.
I'd hesitate to put him on any list of anything.
I know, but I'm just saying, I feel like he should be higher on the list.
He should be like maybe number 1.
Right, because we just don't know. And he's been around literally forever.
Yeah.
So when he was number 6, I was like, oh gosh, what are they putting on the rest of this list? Right? I was immediately skeptical because he should have been number 1 probably.
Also, is this Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White?
That was my other question. That's exactly, yes, this is exactly what I said. Blake can attest that I was like, well, hold on now. If we're talking about Gandalf the Grey, then there's some contenders on this list because he's not the top of the wizards. But once he's Gandalf the White, he is the top wizard.
But even so, basically what you have to go off of is, could that character beat a Balrog?
Correct. Tom Bombadil? I think so.
Like, but we don't know, like, what he even is.
We don't know, but I think so.
I think he's got the Toon Force. Like, he could open up a Looney Tunes hole under the Balrog, and like, anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Continue.
So the number 5 was Elrond.
Womp womp. No.
Yeah, I don't agree. The son of Elwing, who bore a Silmaril, which makes it sound like Elrond bore a Silmaril, but he did not.
No, he did not.
His mom did, but he did not.
He's
not only he's just an elf.
Not only he's half elf.
Right. Correct. He's Harold, okay?
Yeah.
Harold does not belong on this list.
No.
He is a ring bearer, which I think is maybe why I didn't read the whole article because I figured it probably wasn't worth the energy.
But you know who else is a ring bearer? Gandalf.
It's also
anyway.
True. Number 4 was Saruman. So I was like, okay, if we're talking Gandalf the Grey, then yeah, Saruman the White, technically.
He did.
Could Saruman have cleaned up a Balrog? Probably.
He did manage to like trap Gandalf in his tower for a while.
Right.
That was Gandalf the Grey, but Gandalf the White came back and just like
cleaned house. Exactly. Number 3 is Sauron.
Okay. When is this with or without the ring?
It does not say.
I think, well, yeah, I don't know. That's controversial.
Sauron is also a Maiar, so like
he is
technically on the same playing field. Has also been wreaking havoc for a long time.
You do have to ask those questions of timeline, though. Like Sauron from when versus Gandalf from when. It'll change depending on the time frame. But I could see
agree.
There are scenarios where Sauron would win. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Galadriel.
I don't think so.
I agree.
Continue.
And then her subtitle is The Keeper of Nenya and the Lady of Lothlorien, which annoys me because then they should have said the ring that Elrond wears. Like, he should have been the bearer of whatever his ring is called.
Vilya, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about she's very powerful, but she's an elf. This is not the same.
She's the most powerful elf in Middle-earth in the Third Age Gandalf is running around. Círdan the Shipwright is even older, but
he's a shipwright.
But yeah, he's like
he's a builder.
He's not a fighter.
No.
Historically.
Okay, who do you think they put for number 1 on this stupid list?
Frodo.
No.
Okay, so Frodo was just rage bait to get people to click.
For sure.
Okay, they've already done Sauron and Saruman and Galadriel. Mm-hmm. Is it just Eru himself? Because
no.
Is it Aragorn?
No.
Okay.
Even dumber.
Treebeard.
No.
Even dumber.
Treebeard, I think you could make a bit of an argument for. But not a
Fireball.
Good one.
Fireball, that's all it takes,
true.
man.
True.
Who?
But my point was that Treebeard is an ancient,
an
old being.
Did they actually put the Witch King as number 1?
No.
Okay, because there was that scene in the extended edition where he shatters his staff.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, 1, that didn't happen in the books. 2, the Witch King's power was directly tied to Sauron's power at the time.
Right.
There's a lot of things going on there. Anyway, but
no.
Okay, who?
It's a hobbit.
No, get out. Get out.
They put Bilbo.
No.
And I was like, what? And then his subtitle is perhaps the strongest character in the whole franchise. Which I was like, what are we talking about here? This old man. This crotchety old man. Okay. Who I adore. I love Bilbo, okay? Love him to bits.
Yeah.
But here's the reasoning. So this little paragraph. Frodo deserves some credit for his ring-related exploits, but Bilbo is arguably the more powerful being. Not only did he discover the One Ring and carry it in secret for a long time, but he was also able to give it up when it was time to leave the Shire.
Except the whole point to that is because hobbits aren't powerful beings. That's why the ring doesn't affect them as badly.
Right.
Because they aren't drawn to power like that. They just want to chill and smoke pipeweed and eat muffins or whatever. That's the whole point, is they aren't powerful. That's the whole point, and it went right over their heads.
Yep. Though it might not seem like a major display of power, being able to part ways with the One Ring after having access to it for so long is no small feat. The fact that Bilbo was able to do so easily makes him one of the most powerful beings in the Lord of the Rings.
No.
I don't know that easily. I think that that's a
Not
incorrect
easily.
assessment of what happened. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Insane.
And,
Insane.
I went, Blake, you have to send me that link so I can talk about it on the podcast because it's
Completely
so
absurd. I'm sorry. Was Bilbo there when the universe was saying into existence? I didn't think so.
He for sure was not.
Just get out of here. They went with like the quirky, feel good, wholesome answer for number one, and it just doesn't work. Like,
Look,
just
you could have said Sam, and I would have believed you more. But
that's clear. Just no.
and even Sam is
Anyway.
not the correct answer. But you know what I mean? Like, if you would have said Sam, I'd have been like, I do love Sam, and we do stand Sam.
Yeah.
He is for sure the hero. But
like, what do you mean Sam's more powerful than Gandalf?
correct. Not. Although he's pretty good with a frying pan. It was pretty amazing to see him bonking those orcs upside the head with a frying pan again on the big silver screen.
Gandalf has glamdring, so
True.
I'm going to go with glamdring over a frying pan. But
I'm
that's
just
silly.
Yeah.
Silly list.
Yeah. Very silly list. Thanks for letting me share it with you.
Yes. The vein in my forehead. All right.
I knew that was going to happen.
Let's get on to the usual stuff.
Sure.
What you been watching,
Oh, yeah.
reading,
Good
playing?
I got good stuff for you. Okay.
Nice.
For watching, finished up Has Been Hotel.
Nice.
Watched Tales of the Empire. It's a Star Wars show on Disney. It's one of the new animated ones.
I need to watch that.
It's really good. I should have looked through these and like maybe organized them a little better. So next I'm going to say that I did start watching The Acolyte. On Disney Plus. That's the other new Star Wars show. I'm really liking it so far. I've only watched the first 2 episodes.
Same.
But I'm really enjoying it quite a bit. I think it's a refreshing take on the Jedi.
Yeah.
Or at least, I mean, there's obviously some like weird politics and stuff that's annoying.
Yeah.
Which is expected, but the main like master that's kind of at the center of this, I really like him a lot. I like that he's
Soul.
looking for the good and finding it in his former Padawan. And anyway.
Also, for like stories that were based off of old like Japanese films, we have like a criminal lack of Asian representation in Star Wars.
100%.
And he's a very cool character, and I like him a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. As already stated, rewatching season 1 of Rings of Power. Watched Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition in theater. So cool.
Nice.
I did watch Baby Reindeer.
Okay.
Have you heard anything about this?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a Netflix original based on a true story. The writer and actor, it's like kind of like a memoir of going through his experience with a stalker. He's a stand-up comic, but he has this experience with the stalker who calls him Baby Reindeer. It's very creepy. It tackles a lot of like very difficult themes, like around abuse of pretty much any variety you can think of, substance, physical, sexual, all of it. And yeah. Anyway, it was good, but also creepy. And a very specific watch. So, will not be recommending it to everyone, but
yeah.
Blake and I watched A Monster Calls.
Okay.
Because, yeah. He watched If, which is that new movie with Ryan Reynolds in it that's out. It's a kids movie. He watched If with his daughter and some family, and he was like, it was okay, but it reminded me a lot of A Monster Calls, which we watched. And it's A Monster Calls is a story about a little boy whose mom is very sick. And a monster visits him and tells him 3 stories and helps him through kind of these big milestone things that are happening in his life. It's heart-wrenching. It's incredible. Like, it's so good. I don't know why more people haven't. It's hard, I guess.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Like, Blake and I both cried. I mean, if you need
Aw.
a movie to make you cry, A Monster Calls will for sure do it. Liam Neeson is the voice of the monster.
Oh,
So that's kind of
nice.
cool. And the mom, the whole time through the whole movie, I was like, the mom looks really familiar. I should know the mom. Why can't I put my finger on who the mom is? It's from Rogue One, the main
Jyn
girl.
Erso?
Yeah, it's Jyn Erso. Yeah.
Oh, what is her name? I used to know.
Yeah, I don't know what the actor's name is,
Is
but
it
it's
like
her.
Felicity something? Hold
Maybe.
on. I should know that. Rogue One cast. Felicity Jones. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. She's phenomenal. It's very good.
Nice.
We went and saw the new Garfield movie, which I pretty much slept through the whole thing.
That's amazing. That's funny.
But Blake's kid was super into it. So, also found out last week that I'm super behind on my anime that I didn't realize was coming out.
Yeah.
So, and you said I was 2 episodes behind, but my friend, I was 6 episodes behind.
You were 2 episodes behind on Demon Slayer. I forgot that.
There's more. Anyway, so I'm catching up on Demon Slayer, and I'm catching up on My Hero Academia.
How many Demon Slayer ones were there?
I think there were like 4.
Well, one had probably come out like the next day.
I have for sure watched 3.
Okay.
But yeah, 3. I've already watched 3 or 4. Anyway, My Hero Academia, I was 6 behind, and there was also like a little mini series between the 2, like memories.
Oh, okay.
And it's like they're kind of like flash episodes, like flash.
Yeah.
What are those called?
Flashbacks.
Flashback episodes, but with like extra stuff in them. Anyway, so I'm getting caught back up on my anime.
Nice.
This is I have not watched. Okay, there's ads for this out for the new Wolverine and
Deadpool.
Say it again.
Deadpool.
Okay. Deadpool. I think that I'm experiencing some weird Mandela effect.
How?
Because I don't know, but I swear that Ryan Reynolds' character's name is not Deadpool. I don't know what... I know. Blake had the same reaction. I know I'm crazy. But when I look at that character, I'm like, his name is not Deadpool. I don't know what it is, but it is not Deadpool. And I'm just putting that out there.
I think your brain is just playing tricks on you. I'm so sorry.
It totally is, but it's very annoying.
It is 1,000,000% Deadpool. But
that's what Blake said. I know you're right. But I also know it's wrong.
Nope. Your brain is wrong.
I really have no interest in seeing that movie that much. Anyway. Not that I enjoyed the first one. Okay, anyway, that's what I've been watching. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. We technically have not watched our anime that we're watching together in a very long time, so I don't know that it gets to be on the list right now. Hopefully it will be back on the list for July.
Right.
That's my hope. For reading, Where the Wild Things Are, read some kids' books because I took a children's lit class. The Arabic Quilt, another picture book, really cute. Dinosaur Lady, The Daring Discoveries of Mary Anning, the First Paleontologist. I didn't know the first paleontologist was a woman.
Me neither. That's cool.
It's a really cute picture book. I think those are all my picture books, for little kids. I had several graphic novels, so just bear with me here, guys. I'm sorry. Graphic novels, I read New Kid by Jerry Craft. That was very good. Sequel to that is Class Act. And then the third sequel to that is School Trip, which I'm still reading. So it's a series of graphic novels following a kid who ends up at a new, private school. He's making new friends. He really likes art. The new school is very white and very affluent, but they really want more diversity, so they're... Yeah, so anyway, he's a black kid who's just figuring out how to be. They're really good, really fun. Also read Who Was Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, cool.
Which is a middle grade nonfiction book about Nikola Tesla.
Makes sense.
Which there were things about that man I had no idea about. I learned a lot. What kind of a weirdo, but that's okay. Read Dear Mothman, which is a middle grade book about it's a book in verse, which means poetry.
Okay.
From the perspective of a kid whose best friend has just died in a car accident. And they're writing letters / poems to Mothman because their best friend believed in Mothman. Like some people believe in God. Kind of.
That's
not really.
Adorable.
But, yeah. So he's writing letters and leaving them in a notebook outside for Mothman. And then making new friends because after their best friend is gone, making new friends, that journey, sharing Mothman with them. It's very wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
It will break your heart. It is so good. And it just won an award. It's highly recommend.
Nice.
I know it's middle grade, but highly recommend for anybody.
Nice.
I had so much fun with it. I also read The Nightmare House, which is another middle grade horror.
Ooh, you read a horror?
Because we had to pick.
Kind of.
We had to pick a book that was not in a genre that we would normally read. It was okay. Kind of like a Coraline light.
Okay.
So, if you like the idea of Coraline, but it's too freaky for you, Nightmare House.
Okay.
And then, also still reading The Witch Hat Atelier. Say it again. Atelier. Thank you. Atelier. I don't remember what volume I'm on, but... and now I am starting my teen materials class. So, the first book I'm reading for that is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Which, because we had to read a classic YA, and I was like, I feel like that one will be considered a classic. You know, if it's not already. I had not read it before. It is very sad. Mm-hmm. So, I think most people know about The Fault in Our Stars, so I'm not going to talk about that too much.
Tragic.
Yeah. I also read a graphic novel called This One Summer. It was one I was looking at for a selection for my YA, for my young adult class, but I didn't end up picking it. But I did check it out from the library. Kind of a coming of age, wrestling with puberty and parents being humans and going through their own stuff and that you don't understand. And it was pretty good. And then I also had to pick a YA book that has been banned in the last 5 years. And so I chose to read Genderqueer because it's like the most banned book. Maybe
I wonder
ever.
why.
It's a memoir. It was, it's very good. It really helped me understand and maybe put like words to the trans experience or the non-binary experience. Where like I had a grasp of it before, but admittedly not a great one. Like I didn't fully.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm articulating this very well.
I mean,
like,
it's hard to like articulate what dysphoria feels like when you've never felt it like that.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dysphoria was the word I was looking for. So it helped because it's a graphic novel. So it helped visualize what that might be for a person and ways to like address it and combat it. Anyway, there are some really beautiful moments in it. There are also some like naked body part moments. So like, I guess if that's something you're sensitive to,
Yeah.
be aware. But I think that if you're genuinely wanting to understand and curious about what that is like for a non-binary or trans person, I think this would be a great resource for you. And it's Pride Month, you guys, so
Yeah. It's a good time to do it.
there you go. It is super banned and challenged, so it may be difficult to get your hands on a physical copy at your library. So keep
I'm
that
in Texas, so I'm not going to hold my breath.
And it's not even that libraries don't want to carry it. I think that sometimes you know something is going to be a fight, and you decide that
you
you're
gotta pick
not
your battles.
going to fight it. So
Yeah.
which is super unfortunate
Yeah.
and a problem. But I digress.
Have you been playing anything?
You know, I have great aspirations. I got the new Peach Mario Party game.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think I have some free time tonight that I wasn't expecting, so I might do that.
Nice.
And I'm on the last little level of my Ori game, and because I took such a hiatus,
I don't remember how to play it either.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
It's literally the last, like you can see the percentile. It's like the last 2% of the whole stupid game. It's so annoying. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's enough about me.
Well,
I talked a lot. Sorry, I've been reading a lot.
I forgive you. For my watching, so I had a panic moment before we started, and I realized I was too busy writing down notes for the Lord of the Rings news that I forgot to write down my lists for what I've been watching, reading, and playing. I have a list that I very hurriedly jumbled together, so I might be forgetting some big things. So, apologies. Watching Demon Slayer, because that's coming out now. Super happy about that. My Hero Academia. Super pumped for that.
I do feel like we need to talk about those two shows at some point, but
sure,
like in depth, because oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry.
There's a lot to talk about for sure. With like how, well, someday.
All of it.
Hope and I were watching season 2 of Spy Family for a little bit because Hope hadn't seen it yet. So
I haven't either.
that was our that was our dinner show for a while. Was Spy Family. That reminds me of the other one that. Thank goodness I remember things while we go.
See if another second.
Well, another show that we watched is Interview with a Vampire.
Oh,
which is,
yeah.
Have you seen the new one?
No, but Hope mentioned it to me.
Yes. So it is definitely an adult show. I would not have kids watch it, but oh my goodness, that is good vampire. That's good vampire content, if I do say. Terrifying, but like traditional. Like they're not doing some like weird stuff with like what vampires really are, you know.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen the movie Interview with a Vampire with like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, like it's fine. You don't have to have seen the movie. But the main actor is the guy that plays Grey Worm in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Yeah.
wild.
And he's like the main vampire guy, and it's going between like a modern day interview that he's having with his flashbacks to back when he lived in New Orleans in like the Roaring 20s.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so
That's
yeah, it's
fun.
really cool. It's such a cool setting. And season 1 is done. Season 2 is airing right now, and all of season 1 is on Amazon Prime, and the first episode of season 2 is available for free as well.
Nice.
But that's a great show if you're looking for a cool kind of spoopy vampire show. Also, it is Pride Month. I'll just say that. And there's some
Nice.
yeah, fruity content for sure. So, Interview with the Vampire, also Critical Role, of course. I have also been watching the Acolyte show. What? What did you just remember?
I just remember something.
What did you remember?
I remember something I've been playing.
Oh, what?
Because I was wearing my Fern. You said Critical Role.
Oh,
I was
okay.
wearing my Fern shirt. And Blake and I went to a pre-release kit event for the new Magic the Gathering card set, Horizon 3. And so we played some two-headed giant against these two guys that one of them was like, nice shirt, to my Fern shirt. And I was like, oh, someone recognized Fern. It made me very happy. Anyway, sorry.
I like how you're becoming, because you're dating who you're dating, you're becoming much more of like a Magic player than me. And that's really funny. You've played more than me.
I for sure have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know how good I am, but I do enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
And I like playing Two-Headed
Same.
Giant because then Blake gets to help me.
I like playing with Blake because he explains things.
He does. He's very gracious
Anyway.
and very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Star Wars Acolyte, I'm also watching. I've also only seen the first 2 episodes. I know episode 3 got some like huge backlash, but again, I'm like, how much of that is real and how much of it is just like blown way out of proportion? Like it's just people being stupid. So we'll see.
What could it possibly have backlash?
I don't know. The only thing that I have with the show that it's just a funny thing. It's not even like serious. It just doesn't really make sense. So light spoilers for the show, but not really because it's only 2 episodes deep. So whatever. But okay, they're twins, right?
Yeah.
They thought they were
really quickly.
Yeah, but they both thought that the other twin was dead.
Right.
And grew up completely separately.
Right.
How did they both end up with the exact same braids and the exact same dye job on their braids?
Well, evil twin, I wish I'm going to call her that because we don't actually know what. I mean,
Yeah.
She is killing people, I guess, so it makes her more
Yeah.
evil than the other one. She has a set of longer braids underneath.
Okay.
Like, some of her braids are longer. They're not exactly the same.
Because that was my thing. I was like, how do they have the exact same hairstyle?
But the answer to that is, the real life answer to that is that it's the same actress.
Yes.
And they weren't going to make her take her braids out and put them back in for every other character.
They couldn't have done like a wig or something? I don't know.
I mean,
It's
they
like
probably could have, but...
This is Disney. Come on, Disney. Put your Imagineers to work here.
But also, we know from and this is speculation because I don't actually know, but from the Screen Actors Guild and Writers Guild strikes, we know that black actors have had to fight for hair and makeup support on sets. So
maybe this is just a manifestation of that
that's what I'm wondering.
I'm noticing for the first time.
Yeah, but I hear you.
Yeah. Anyway,
they also
other than that though,
like also the odds that they would end up having like the same physique.
Yeah.
Seems very...
Like, even identical twins that grow up together end up having some, like, differences that are noticeable, usually. Anyway, but I also am enjoying the show. I think it's a refreshing time period. New characters. I love Master Soul, like you said. He's
the knight? Yord? He's annoying.
He's a doof. I don't like him. He seems really self-absorbed.
You know what, though? His name, the fact that it's Yord, does kind of make me think of Ford from Campaign 2 of Critical Role. And the, like early Ford.
Yeah.
Being very, like, conscientious of how he looks and presents himself and is, like, kind of putting on a facade.
Yeah.
I just hope that Yord can have an arc like Ford.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look that promising to me at this point.
I like her cute little handheld, like, Game Boy droid that she has. Pip, thank
great.
you.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, so I've been enjoying Star Wars Acolyte. We watched a musical.
You did?
It's from Star Kid on YouTube.
Okay.
It's called Nerdy Prudes Must Die.
Whoa. Okay. What?
It's a part of a trilogy, the Hatchetfield trilogy. There's the guy who doesn't like musicals, which I love. I've already seen. I think I've talked to you about that one. Anyone should watch that one. It's so funny. Black Friday is the second one. The weakest of the three, I think, but still okay. And then this one, which is Nerdy Prudes Must Die, which this one takes place in like a high school setting, and it's about this bully. And at one point, the bully says Nerdy Prudes Must Die, but like you like, anyway, it's a whole thing. There's like murders happening. It's a whole thing. But it's great. And they all have like some aspect of like spooky supernatural thing happening.
Okay.
So like the guy who doesn't like musicals is about a guy who like finds himself trapped in like this town where like suddenly everyone just starts breaking out into song and he like can't figure out why. And he hates musicals.
That's amazing.
The second one is Black Friday. It's kind of, they tried to make it more serious and like, I don't know. It's about like a bunch of like, I don't know, consumerism and like how gross it is and all this stuff. But then this last one does dive into some like purity culture things. It dives into like what it is to be like a nerd and like it's in this specific time period because I feel like nerds, this is like the golden era of nerddom right now. This is back when like the football jocks were beating up the nerds. Anyway, but no, it was really, really good. And a certain song has been like on repeat in my brain for several days now. So highly recommend. For reading, we are reading The Stone Sky for the read along.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
You totally are.
I'm also reading Witch Hat Atelier, and I am on the last volume. I still need to read that one.
Oh dear.
Are you? Are you caught up? Oh, okay.
No, not at all. You're so far ahead of me.
I've also started.
As you can tell, I've been reading a lot of other things.
Yes, you have. I also started collecting the Freerin volumes.
Oh.
And
yes, so did I. Volume 1. I read that.
Oh, nice. And I am like pretty much right up to where the show ends.
Okay.
Which I'm not going to say what it is because you're not there yet. What?
I also watched Pocahontas. I'm so sorry, dude.
Oh, you did. I knew about that.
I'm terrible.
Also reading the solo leveling light novel.
Oh.
I want to collect
didn't know there
those.
was a light novel.
Yeah, those were first actually.
Nice. Gotcha.
And I used one of my Audible credits to download the Silmarillion, read by Andy Serkis. And I started that, and that's been a joy and a pleasure.
Yeah.
While I'm on the reading, I gotta say, so Hope and I were at Fan Expo in Dallas this weekend, and that, like, getting ready for that took up a lot of time, but crazy thing happened. We were at the panel for the English voice actor for Power, who is a character from Chainsaw Man, the anime, and someone asked her if she's reading anything right now, and she's reading the 5th season.
Yes. Amazing.
And
did you like freak out?
She started talking about like what the book was about, and I was like, yeah, yeah.
Just wait till the moon shows up.
Oh, my goodness.
I guess just wait till you find out the moon hasn't been there the whole time.
Yeah, man. So it's always cool to see that kind of thing happen when someone else is reading the book you're reading. It's
For
like,
sure.
I almost wanted to
amazing.
get up and like ask a question about the book, but then I didn't. It's fine. Um, anyway, so that was fun. For playing, I did make some more progress on my Baldur's Gate 3 run. However, I was distracted because I cosplayed as the hunter from Bloodborne at Fan Expo. So, like, to hype myself, I played some Bloodborne.
Gotcha.
So that was fun. But also...
You guys, the costume was amazing.
Oh, thank you. But, so the Elden Ring DLC is coming out soon. So I did just yesterday start a new playthrough of Elden Ring that it's gonna be my DLC playthrough. So,
Nice.
and
I
still playing
think-
D&D.
Nice. Is the dragon egg still there?
Mm-hmm.
I think to treat myself when I'm done with grad school, I'm gonna get Tears of the Kingdom.
You should.
I did Breath of the Wild last summer. I cannot do that to myself this summer. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
maybe for Christmas I'll get that for myself. If somebody else doesn't get it for me.
Right.
Anyway.
I'm excited for when you do.
Me too.
And I expect texts
Of course.
when things happen. Anyway,
Of course.
yeah, that is my list of all the things. Yeah.
Look at us.
So, next week is going to be another read-along. So look forward to that. And at some point, the bonus episode for this month will come out. At some point. But, yeah.
Okay, we're already halfway.
I know. It's already like the 15th or whatever at the time of recording this. Or 14th. I don't know. But,
Anyway.
yeah, I guess until next time, go read something cool.
Go watch some Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.